Hi, friends. I hope you all are doing great. It is me, Nikki, here, and today I'm excited to share with you how to make those risky decisions in business. So let's get started. So, friends, do you ever, you're a small business owner, or whether you have a larger business, but one of the things that I have found in my entrepreneurial journey is making those risky decisions, because sometimes when you have the point where you want to grow and you want to try new things, but there are risks involved with a lot of those things. And so how do you decide if you want to jump in, or maybe that it's not a smart decision to jump in? And so those are the tips that I'm going to share with you today. And friends, I hope it will be so helpful. I also want to remind you that I am on Amazon every Friday at 1 p.m. and I would love for you to come join me over there. And I have some lives where I'll be sharing business tools and things that are found on Amazon. And so I really think it's a good place where we can connect. Along with, for my aspiring professional organizers, I have my master course out for you, where if you're looking to get into the professional organizing business and you don't know where to start, or you want a course that is really truly going to help you get your business started, my course is for you. And so I'll definitely put the link in the description box, and I hope you all will take advantage of it. Even if you have a professional organizing business and it's just not kind of growing the way you need it to grow, it's not where it needs to be, this is a great course for you also. So I hope anyone interested in the art of organization will definitely take my master course. Friends, the first thing not to do is not doing your research. Whenever you want to venture off and do something risky in your business, you have to research, because failure to research is just one of the biggest mistakes that you can make, because you need to know kind of the ins and outs of how it's worked in the past, if it's worked for others, kind of making sure that it's on the up and up. A lot of times we can be, as business owners, approached with a variety of opportunities, whether it's with product implementation, all kinds of things. And so if you fail to really do research, look at reviews on companies, talk to people who have previously worked with companies, then you can potentially set yourself up to not only be engaging in a scam or be scammed. You may just find that the company is not what you need for your particular business. So doing your research really can save you a lot of heartache and a lot of time. And another thing I want to say about doing your research is the worst thing in the world is not to research something and then find out 6 months into the project that it would have never worked anyway. And so that is why that is so very important. My next tip is to set a risk level. Limit yourself to what amount of risk you're willing to take on any given decision. So if you're deciding to implement a new product, set a financial guide on how much you're willing to spend on this project, a time limit. How long are you willing to hold off for implementation? Think about all of the components of the project or the thing, and then set up limits for it of what you will allow. This will give you a sense of security also, because you've set those limits, but it also really will give you the opportunity to effectively communicate if you are working with someone else, another company or something like that. It could really just be it allows you to be very transparent with expectations. So definitely just sit down and just come up with a risk factor before you actually jump in. So friends, the next tip is huge. It is to write a list of pros and cons. I do this with every decision that I make. I always list the pros and cons, because by listing them, you can really have a visual to see, will this actually work, or is this actually a good decision? Because if you write the list and the cons are just outnumbering the pros, then it's probably something that you really, really want to do more research on, really think out before you jump into it. And I even do this, friends. I do this with everything. Like if I'm getting ready to get a new program for the business, then I'll kind of list the pros and cons of the competitors and of the company I'm thinking of going with, to look and see if that company is truly the one that I should go with. So as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, writing that pros and cons list for a variety of things, especially high risk things, is so important. My next tip, friends, is to talk to people you trust. And people you trust should be those folks that are going to tell you the hardcore truth, whether you like it or not, because they can really save you a lot in the long run. I've had people in my business, in my life, I've had team members that have really just been very transparent, and it has saved me from making some wrong, risky decisions. And so those people that you trust, those people that advise you, definitely listen to what they have to say, share with them the project or the thing that you're wanting to implement, and get their feedback. Now, I will say with this, use everything that I'm sharing with you in combination together, because one thing you don't want to do is just use one or two of the components for making a full decision. Because if you do all the things that I said today, it's really going to give you enough data, enough information to do what you need to do or to make the decision that you need to make. But one thing you don't want to do is you don't want to not listen to that person that you trust. Another thing I will say about that is sometimes when we have a project as an entrepreneur, we're that creative mind. So our mind is focused on not necessarily all of the details. It's more of the overall end result. And that's all a part of being a creative. But sometimes that person that you trust is more of that detailed person. So things that you're not even thinking about or things that they're kind of just seeing from a different perspective really can be helpful when you're trying to make that decision. One thing not to do is, friends, don't wait to make the decision because everything has to be perfect. If you're trying to wait for perfection, it's never going to show up. So when you're looking at high risk situations, we can often not take advantage of it because it's not perfectly lined up. It's not perfect. Because if you're striving for perfection, again, you're not going to move. You ever see that person that they want to start that business, and you may be this person, but you want to start this business, but you never can get kicked off the ground because you want everything to be perfect. And actually, you could have had a thriving business years ago if you would have just gone ahead and started. So again, using all of the tips together, what you don't want to do is, when looking at that, if it's all not aligned perfectly, say, I'm not going to do it. Because again, remember, perfection is not reality. But one thing to do is rely on your intuition, that gut, that thing in your stomach. If you are meeting with someone and your gut tells you something just is not right, most likely, friends, something just is not right. I can tell you in my business that I've been doing since 2017, every time that I did not follow my gut, it was a mistake. And so, and sometimes I didn't realize it until after I made the mistake, but following that gut can save you a lot of time, a lot of stress, and a lot of money. So trust your intuition. And another thing I wanted to say is understand, as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, you are going to make mistakes. You are going to jump on that project that is just, it fails. And that is not necessarily a negative thing and a thing that I would say not to do, because you learn from those failures, and those failures take you into the business so that you can grow. If everything is always lined up and you're only doing the safe things, it's hard for you to grow. So, I encourage you to look at those things that you desire to do that may be risky, because that is truly what is going to push you to the next level in your business. So that's why I thought that this video was so important, because I wanted you to do it in a smart way and to give you tips that would help you kind of structure it in a smart way. But definitely, I don't want to send the message not to do anything that you feel like, may fail, and to have just the reality of, if you're going to get into the line of being an entrepreneur or being your own business owner, there are going to be things that just are going to fail, and to accept them as a part of the process. And friends, my final tip is to stay committed. Stay committed to, one, trying risky things, but two, being smart about how you decide what you're going to try. And when you go into a project, stay dedicated to it in the allotted risk factor that you have set up for that project. And if things in the beginning do not feel like they're going in the right direction, but you've set a certain timeline, make it to that timeline. Give it that opportunity to just kind of come to fruition, or come to, not necessarily fruition, but come to light, because sometimes it takes a minute for something to kind of reveal itself. And so if you don't set that risk factor and then stay committed to that risk factor, you may be missing out. So friends, I hope that the tips I've shared with you today have been helpful when you're trying to make those risky business decisions. Let me know in the comments. I would love to know if you are willing to share, if there's anything that you have been wanting to jump on that you have been just kind of hesitant of because of the risk factor. Definitely share with us. Or if you have any additional tips, I would love for you to let me know, or simply say, hey Nikki, and let me know what your business is. Share with us in the comments, and we would love to all hear what you got going on in your neck of the woods. And I also want to remind you, I have my master course for professional organizers already ready. It's in the link in the description box. I hope you all are doing great. I will see you at the next video. And this is Nikki saying goodbye.